What's going on, metalheads? You're watching and listening to another edition of Metal Massacre. It's the czar of gnar and the weirdo with a beardo here, and we're going to talk about Halloween. Because 'tis the season here in a day or two. I think when this comes out, it'll be Halloween, the day of or the day before. So
yeah, we're trying to get this done as soon as we can to put you in the mood to hang out because everybody knows people are busy. So we do have a special interview at the end of this episode. Someone who was very apt for this time of year.
Oh, yeah.
Salem Vex.
Yep.
I haven't checked out the project. Please do. And of course, we're going to get into a good conversation with him that Lucian did.
Really cool guy. I will say this. We had a lot in common. He's a huge fan of physical media.
Okay.
So I actually told him there's a movie he really loves that came out, and I'm like, I'm going to try to get it on VHS for you. And I'm not going to be one of those people that makes a promise and doesn't fucking keep it. So
yeah.
I'm going to my custom VHS buddy. I'm going to make him one and mail it over to Salem. But yeah, super excited to share that interview with you guys. It was very Halloween appropriate, and we felt like that was the one interview this season that kind of fit the season more than the others. So we're like, hell yeah, let's throw it in Halloween. So
absolutely, man.
Stay tuned for that later on.
But this episode, normally we come at you with a list or we try and, like we talk to this band in this genre. Nah. Today, we'll still have the music interview at the end. And a lot of this will still be, we've mentioned it. Halloween's the most metal holiday.
Exactly.
It is the metal brother of the holidays, right? Oh,
Woo!
my God.
Notification.
I would like a sponsor, but not now. VPN. I'm turn that down. It's all good. But yeah, so we want to just kind of go over because, again, this time of year, if you're a metalhead and you don't like Halloween, you're an outlier. So, hey, which is fine. Hey, you're allowed. But at the same time, so many of us do. It's it's our favorite holiday as far as I'm aware. Sure. So I kind of do want to. That's how I want to start this. It's easy what your favorite holiday is because I think it's for most all of us and a lot of folks. It's just the time of year. It's Halloween.
Yeah,
some people
spooky time
for multiple different reasons. Whether they love Christmas or they hate it because of the pressure and some people get sad around the holidays and some people love the holidays. What's your least favorite holiday, man? What's the not like fuck this, but I mean like
Easter.
Okay,
it's fucking dumb.
But that's a religious one.
It's
so
still a holiday.
Yeah.
I don't know. Fucking Flag Day.
I was thinking, like, honestly, for me,
what's your least favorite?
Thanksgiving, bro.
Yeah, it's not that fun.
It's because I love watching football.
Just stuff your face and be lazy.
And that's why people are like, "What the fuck are you talking about? The food?" I'm like, yeah, that's all it is. It's like it's the pressure to Thanksgiving. I'll put it this way. What I can give Thanksgiving is it's not a holiday of obligation.
Okay.
Meaning, like, 4th of July, someone's got to be buying the cookout.
Right.
Or Christmas, everyone's got to be buying each other presents. Fucking birthdays, Valentine's Day. You got to do something for somebody. And then people hate Valentine's Day because they're single or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Thanksgiving, what it's got going for them is, someone's still got to cook the dinner, obviously, and that sucks. But someone's usually in the family pretty stoked to do it.
Yeah, there's always that one person in the family that's like, oh my God, I got to cook the turkey this year.
Right.
Oh.
Fuck. But like, there's no, I don't have to, I'm not buying you Thanksgiving presents.
Sure.
Like, unless I guess you're doing Christmas a month early. Some people do that. But Halloween is the fucking best because the only obligation is to have fun. If you want to go hard on your costume, if you want to be someone that hosts a Halloween party, which I just went to one on Saturday where every single person that was dressed up, the hostess, Katie, she did fucking fantastic. She like decked out her entire house and then built a treasure hunt based on Stephen King movies and novels.
That's nice.
And like had like little like weird little limericks and stuff all over the papers. And like you had to go throughout their house with your phone and like take a picture of a thing. And then when you think you had all 10 of them, you have to write down the movie or the book that is based off of and then have a picture that you like, ooh, I found the twins from The Shining and shit like that.
See, that shit's fun, but it just depends on how drunk I am at a Halloween party.
Yeah.
Because I devolve, this.
That's also what it's for.
6-7 beers Lucian devolves into madness. And then I'm like, I'll just walk up to people reading the limericks or whatever, like, you think that now you change the tides, but which book had Pennywise?
I was born. You almost got Bane going there.
Oh, God, I almost did
You
too.
like Halloween, don't you?
I think I'd really make a good Bane for Halloween. I'm not going to lie. I could do the voice pretty well.
That would be pretty sick. Just get you a bald cap. You could probably find the mask
there,
pretty
Mr.
easily.
UPS man.
Get you just like some giant fucking like trench coat looking thing. We could do that.
I was born in the darkness.
Which, again, kind of leads. We didn't really have a main topic. We're
just talking about Halloween today, guys.
Our favorite things that we do.
We don't want to like keep that going too long without letting you know. Like this is not a metal list. We have an interview at the end, sure, but at the same time, this is just us talking about Halloween and why we appreciate it, and maybe some things we like doing for Halloween. Like me, honestly, and I'll bring this up only because it's relevant, semi in peripherals.
Sure,
but I was really stoked to get back into that Evil Dead video game.
Oh yeah,
and then they shit the bed for an entire weekend and shut down the servers for 4 days.
Yeah,
and anarchy reigned the world for 4 days. But as of this recording this morning, they brought the game back on. So like we got friends in the Discord server that are like, I'm downloading it right now. Let's fucking go. And
I actually came over here to do this early in the morning. Basically, we're out here at like 10 a.m., which is early for metalheads.
Oh God,
because I was like, dude, I know you want to play Evil Dead. I got to work later. Like, let's
fucking get it.
But if you're a video watcher, I bought candles for this.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I'm taking this serious still. Okay.
It's Halloween. Okay. we're being spooky right now. I got my Hellboy shirt on. It's Halloween. But yeah, no, I'm super stoked to play that game and just kind of like dive into that for the next couple of days. But obviously horror movies, man, that's the biggest, the biggest Halloween thing for me. But
it's a lot of folks.
Anna gets mad when I say it's spooky season because she's like, it's always spooky season in this house. And I'm like, that's true. We do watch horror movies like literally year round. But like at the same time, there's just something special about watching horror in October. There's the magic in the air, it's colder, and somehow because it's not summer anymore and it's fall, like your imagination kind of runs wild into like there could be people outside my door.
Oh gosh.
Like, and I guess it's debatable, but I think fall might be the most metal season of all. Everything's dying and falling to the ground and cold and fucking gross outside, and like it's not so gross that it's winter to where it's like a wasteland outside, but it's the scary season because you also like remember walking as a kid and then you hear like leaves crunch behind you and you turn around all fast and you're like, who the fuck's there? Like that's such a fucking spooky season thing, and I love it.
Obviously, there's cultural aspects to it too because we've conditioned ourselves to like this time of year. But I guess I don't know. Let's go through the history of Halloween. I have no idea why Halloween started, to be honest.
Well,
I think it was
there's a couple different answers to that, actually.
Yeah.
But I believe, I was literally watching a video on this the other day because that Trick or Treat movie with the Sam kid, who's like the little pumpkin head kid that kills to take it back for a second, there's a guy on YouTube called CZ's World.
Okay.
And what he does is he's a horror movie analyst. And his backdrop is like a chalkboard like you're in school. And it's like, today's lesson is this movie. And he did the whole history of that character. And in that history of that character, he described like how Halloween starts. But every culture across time has celebrated Samhain.
Okay. Yeah.
Which we call Samhain because we're white people.
No,
but,
right, sure.
but Samhain has been like something that is traditionally celebrated by a lot of different cultures. I mean, jack-o'-lanterns came from the Irish. Did you know that?
I did, actually. I did know that.
They used potatoes and radishes initially, but then it later got turned into pumpkins.
Well, yeah. And that's cool. And again, going to the pumpkin patch because they usually grow around this time. I guess I can see all the Day of the Dead. I know that's in November technically, but it's like 2 days after. It's the second?
I don't remember when the Day of the Dead is. I think it's like the first or the second for sure.
Because we have a show on the second here locally. If you're around in Omaha and you catch this on the day and date and you're around, come see us.
Day of the Dead, maybe. I don't know.
I think Day of the Dead. But again, all these cultures from across the world have something that happens kind of around fall where we honor the dead or we, dance for them or whatever. But again, this time of year does just obviously I went outside the other night. I was playing Diablo, which we'll get into again as well. Our things that we like to do around this whole time of the year is basically the topic today. But like, I had a couple of beers. I live downtown in our city, so like there's a corner store like literally right across the street from me, and like I just
pretty
wandered,
much a bodega,
yeah, a little bodega, and I wandered outside just to go. I was like, hey, we're taking a quick break. We finally just got back to the little town where you can be safe in Diablo. I was like, hey, I'm gonna go run across the street. And I just went across the street, and it was just like, I like it out here.
Yeah,
because it was just
nice.
like everyone had their spooky lights up.
Yeah.
It was like 7 p.m., but it was dark, and like the leaves, just that fall air. Everyone was dressed up. I saw people just like walking into because it was like a Friday night. I saw people walking into the bodega like all dressed in crazy hair, and like I was like, man, I love this fucking time of year. It's just I just like it. Like I said, I mean, I'm obviously a big metalhead. I like horror movies. I've watched a fuckload of them, but I'm not it's horror all year round guy, just because, there's like some people.
You like to have seasons for things.
I like my seasons.
Like Dustin and his wife every winter. His first tradition in the winter is as soon as it snows, he's going to spend one full day playing Minecraft.
It is.
The weirdest thing in the world.
It's
and then the next one that I know of is that you guys like to watch Lord of the Rings, the trilogy, and then B, the entire Harry Potter franchise between snow falling and New Year's Eve.
Yep.
That's like the typical time range where I'll come over and I'll be like, hey man, how's it going? And you'll be like, shut up, Dumbledore died. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? You've seen this every year for like 10 years.
Still so sad. No, but like, again, the most fucked up part of that whole series is when like he has to feed him the water and he's like, don't give me water, Harry. And he's like, I can't.
Motherfucker.
I was like, that makes me so sad every time. But hey, again,
But yeah, everyone's got like those seasonal traditions, and you're much more of a seasonal person when it comes to traditions and certain types of content.
Because my wife, which there's a little coaxing in my direction because it just was time and place. But we got my wedding anniversary. I got married on Halloween. Actually, which was pretty cool. So we ended up like doing like a big thing.
Pissed me
like,
off, motherfucker. I wanted to do that. And then I was like, if I do that, do you not realize that everyone I know is going to be like, oh, you did that because Dustin and Caleb did
you
that.
think you're fucking
No,
cool?
it's fucking Halloween.
It's a sick holiday to have as your anniversary, to be honest.
It is.
Hey,
that's pretty good.
Here comes a boomer joke. Now I can't forget my anniversary. Like I won't, because if it was just like September 12th, like what the fuck is, you know what I mean? Well, I guess there's something that happened the day before
I
that.
somewhat have a similar excuse because we got married on Zach's birthday.
Oh yeah.
And so now we like share a day with Zach, and every year Zach will text me, hey, happy anniversary. And I'll be like, happy birthday, bro.
Want to
like,
go out to dinner with us?
Right. You want to have a little like threesome party where we just hang out and fucking go to a bar?
Yeah. Something. Yeah, man. Like, so I guess that kind of leads us into what I was saying. It's like our loose topic for the day. We have traditions. Everybody does, I think. And like, hell, again, comment right in your favorite holiday traditions, whether they have to do with Halloween or not. I'm sure if you have something cool, I'd love to hear about it. I like my little traditions and my little things to do. It gives life purpose. But since you are more of like the Halloween centric focused person on the show, and like I do want to say as well is because like my wife fucking hates scary stuff. Like she doesn't like being all creeped out.
Yeah,
so like
it's not her thing. That's okay.
We're not going to haunted. She doesn't want to go to a haunted house. She doesn't really like she had never seen any of the Saw movies ever. And so like I think like a week or almost 2 weeks ago. It doesn't matter. You guys don't know when I'm recording this, but like I was like, you haven't. Really? Oh, come here. Come here. And she's like, I don't want to. I was like, no, come here. You got it. And like, she watched and she was like, yeah, that wasn't like, it was pretty brutal, but like, it wasn't a bad movie. Actually, you know what? And like, for coming from her, for someone who doesn't like it.
Did you just watch the first one?
Just the first one.
See, I'm not surprised because those movies are great storytelling.
Yeah, they get
like
bad.
They're so soap opera-y in the laters.
Yeah.
But it's still like, if you're invested in the characters and you really liked 1 through 4, then you're still going to watch 6 through 10. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
It's like, that's how good I feel like they wrote those characters. So it's like from the female perspective, that's like, I don't want to be scared or whatever. I think there's still a lot to appreciate about those movies. So I can see her liking that, you know?
He was in the room the whole time.
Oh God, he was the man on the floor.
But do you have, I mean, again, every year's a little different. I know like Terrifier came out this year, so that was like a perfect, like into Halloween season. So,
and it's a Christmas movie, which I love Christmas horror. I think it's so underrated. There's a lot of really good Christmas horror movies, not just slashers, but like the very first review I ever did on my first podcast was a movie called The Nightmare of Christmas or something like that. It's not Nightmare Before Christmas, but
sure,
it's this other like little anthology Christmas horror movie.
Well, we can say that Jack Skellington did a good job of being able to like kind of
merge them. Yeah.
And then and essentially, well, Tim Burton, but like it almost created a brand then as well, because it does. I mean, they're only 60 days away from each other, not even. So it's like, I get it. And that was a cool concept. The Nightmare Before Christmas is fine to me. Like I said, I think that's one of those things where it's like, is The Big Lebowski the best movie ever? No, but it's
great. Yeah,
it's
it
good.
still
and
does what it does.
People like watching it over and over, and have this giant cult following just because of what it is. It's so unique to what it is, and it may not be the best thing ever. And like again, I think it's fine. But like some people, obviously, it's like their whole like Jack Skellington socks all year round, like get tattoos, and like they're way into it, and that's again totally fine.
I think it's just so commercialized now, and it's been so merchandised that people are sick of it. Like my wife is like, God damn it, I'm fucking tired of that. Because and I get it, because like it's the one thing you see at Spencer's that's always in stock. But
it's iconic, man.
It is, but like there's so much other stuff that has happened since then that I would argue is more iconic. I don't know. There's just a lot about Halloween. It doesn't have to just be like 2 movies. Right. You know what I mean? But I do love when they use Christmas in Halloween movies. Like Terrifier 3, they did that really, really well. And it felt like a Christmas movie.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like it had those,
I see it.
Those beats and the feels and even the aesthetics. Like someone brought up the first 2 Terrifiers were like really gray and like grindhouse film looking, like very gross, grungy. And this one's like bright and colorful and like Christmas lights and like, you know what I mean? Like very warm palettes. So there's a contrast there. And I just don't think you get that with regular Halloween movies. Like, because regular Halloween movies want to be dark and dingy and gross and very Texas Chainsaw, Saw, that kind of stuff. Like, it's rare to see one in a colorful palette. So a Christmas horror movie is always very fun to me. And again, there's something about the weather getting colder that is a scary thing. Remember, back in the day, before we had air conditioning and fucking correct plumbing, like the winter was the time of year where you're like, are my cattle gonna die?
Like, am I going to make it through this winter?
My kid is sick and has fucking pneumonia and it's negative 20 outside and I'm desperately cutting wood for this fucking heater all winter long. Like, I can't even do anything because I just got to keep cutting wood. So, like, we've come so far. These used to be the scariest times of the year where we would tell ourselves these folklores and these legends to almost entertain ourselves and also to teach kids lessons. Like, don't go into the woods after night or Baba Yaga will get you. You know what I mean?
True,
or
man.
like the Jersey Devil or any of that kind of shit.
All
like,
the cryptids.
A lot of this stuff was made up to teach people a lesson and to keep them from doing stuff. And I just think it's fun. There's something ancient about Halloween. You know, it's like one of the oldest things that is like a holiday that we still celebrate, and things have transformed, you know, like instead of leaving out food for the dead, we give each other candy now. You know, and things have changed to be more commercialized, sure, but like the idea is still there. And God, as like a found footage horror fan, or like someone that loves when things come full circle or meta breaking or fourth wall breaking content, it's such a crazy idea to think like some Illuminati force is keeping Halloween going, because if we stop celebrating Halloween, it'll be like the end of Cabin in the Woods where those giants come out and kill the world. Right. Like my horror movie brain just says that to me. And it's like, listen, this isn't the reason. It's money. People want money. Yes. That's why Halloween's a thing.
Big Chocolate has a stake in this.
Big Chocolate has a stake. They're Satan worshipers, and they don't want Satan to come back. So they keep pushing the chocolate as some kind of ritual.
Valentine's Day is a scheme by Hallmark to sell more cards. So again, like I said, besides traditions, I'm more of the gamer guy, which both of us play games and both of us watch movies, but I'm more like, that's all I really do. And that's like where I have, if I have time in front of a TV, I'm watching sports or I'm playing video games. If you have time in front of a TV, you're either watching generally movies or playing video games. Like it's one of the two. So like, I guess you were lucky that, for want of a better term, that again, a great franchise that is furthering horror in Terrifier and like becoming kind of a staple, or it came out right in this area. And for a long time, every Saw movie came out like on Halloween, and people would go and do that because going to the movies on Christmas and Halloween are a big thing for people too.
Even Thanksgiving, that's a big movie day for families.
The day before Thanksgiving is the biggest bar holiday, that kind of shit too. Like holidays, obviously, just they invoke the best in us and the worst in us sometimes too. But
it's a scary thing.
Do you have movies that are staples that like it's October? I've watched this 1,000 times, or I haven't seen it. Are there movies that you have to put in your rotation, like My Lord of the Rings at the end of the year? Things that you have to watch.
I like to hit up a couple Evil Deads. I like to watch. It's not a movie, but all of Ash versus Evil Dead is a really fun thing to watch in October.
Well, streaming TV is so close to good at being better than movies at this point nowadays that like because they're not so contained.
Yeah.
That I think that counts. I mean, movies loosely. You can use the whole.
Plus, you get more content out of a show, so it's like I can watch that for a couple days and be like, "Oh my god, I'm getting into it," instead of like 2 hours.
It's good to binge because then you feel like it's almost like a video game where you can binge. Like, fuck, I have like 8 hours of content to watch. Sick. That's what I'm doing to sit down today. Like,
I've been saving a lot of stuff for like literally the day before Halloween. I want to start watching some stuff, but I'm gonna look on Shudder and. See what's there. You know, this year I want to kind of break tradition and look into some new horror.
Okay.
Like maybe look into some old slashers I've never watched or something new like that. Yeah. But yeah, I really like horror TV shows, horror comedies. Yeah. I think Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls is now going to be a traditional movie this season because the connection we have to that movie and just like it is a good fucking movie. Like I love Andrew Bowser's work. So yeah, that was probably going to be another tradition for me. But yeah, honestly, just staying up late, gaming. We'll see what movies I get into. Maybe I'll like update people and let you guys know what I watched and if anything was good.
That'd be great. I
like weird horror.
Yeah. Not necessarily niche, but like just outside the box, new thing. Bro, again, it's good to challenge yourself. Why read the same book?
There's a movie on Shudder called Slacks, SLAXX, and it's a department store. Like imagine like Village Point, and there's like a fucking a huge like. Very swanky department store, like Old Navy style. And these people are all working there. And this pair of pants gains sentience and starts killing people. It's a slasher movie, but the slasher is a pair of pants.
Oh, is that rubber? The tire one?
It's essentially the same kind of a thing. And the pants have a power and they're like draining life force from people and like choking people with their legs.
Ooh, I got a weird story for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's something that you may or may not know. I do not dream when I sleep.
Really?
No. I don't know what that fucking says about me.
Well, I do sometimes, but not very often.
See, and I think that like when people tell you like weed suppresses it, and I smoke a little weed, who gives a fuck? Like, so I'd be like, but again, the point is people tell you like, well, if you stop getting baked before bed every night, you'd probably have dreams, which there is actual science that when they do sleep studies, like, yeah, if you're stoned to the bone, you're still getting that's every night you're dreaming in your brain. Your brain is active while you're sleeping and it's trying to get into REM and then it's doing what it's doing. You're always dreaming, quote unquote. But so here's the thing, because it reminded me when you brought up the pants. I'll get there. I do not dream and I don't know why, but that's been my whole life except for when I was very, very young. And I had one recurring dream and then I never did again, which is odd, scary. And it was like, you know, they tell you like in a dream it lasted like 4 hours, but it seems like 2 minutes or whatever. But like I had one dream when I was like a kid. I think by like first grade or kindergarten, I stopped having that dream and then I never did again. And I remember it exactly. And I don't know why. I'd be getting off the school bus, which I never rode a school bus. Like I never someone was like going to school on a bus. Like I never actually had to do that. So I don't know why I was getting off the bus and getting dropped home from school. But I would get dropped off. And there was like my house, even though it didn't look like my house and was not my house, at the end of like a long cul-de-sac. And the bus driver would drop me off and there was broad daylight. It's like maybe 200 yards away. So I just put my backpack on, my stuff, say bye to the bus driver, get on the road, start walking. And then every time you get about halfway home, you start feeling it. You know what I'm talking about. Someone's looking at you.
Yeah.
And then every fucking time, and I don't know why. I probably got taken to JCPenney way too young. But you look back, and it was just a mannequin. Like, a mannequin. Just wearing, like, a flannel fucking green shirt and probably the same pants in that movie. Start running at you. And then, creepy, right?
Yeah.
And then I would start, oh, fuck. And like running towards my house. And looking back, he's a little closer every time, that old horror trope. And I don't remember if I'd ever seen it. Like, I don't remember being 4 and watching a scary movie that had that in there. But again, you don't remember a lot. So there must have been something in my brain.
Your brain took something subconsciously, didn't like it, but you weren't aware of it.
No. And so it would always be the same thing. I would get real close to my house.
Yeah.
Look back. He's right there. You wake up.
Ooh, that's crazy.
And it happened for a long time. I remember telling my parents, telling my grandparents, and they were like, they were wondering if I needed to I need to put my 6-year-old in a sleep study. Like, what's going on here? But there was just one day, I swear to God, it was I don't know. It was the last time that I dreamt. I don't remember what the inside of the house is, but I made it to the house.
Nice.
I got inside, shut the door, woke up. And I earnestly and honestly, besides maybe little inklings every now and again, because you still do dream. And so every now and then I'll wake up and I feel like it must have been a dream. I don't know. But barely remember them, if at all. And I don't think I can't remember a dream I've had in the past, like I said, so 25 years.
Yeah.
And never again. But mannequins, and anytime I see one, I'm like, don't you fucking move.
I remember
they don't freak me out nowadays. I've gotten past that, obviously, because I'm an adult. But I just thought it was weird. Like I said, I had the same. Get off the bus, get halfway home, look back. It's right there. It starts running. It's animated. I'm like, I get to the house. I get tackled. Something. It gets me. I wake up. I woke up one day because I got in the house. Never dreamt again. Weird. Don't really talk about it. Not because it's still weird, but it's just not something you bring up in normal conversation. This seemed the time for it. But it was around here there's mannequin pants. I was like, boy, do I got something for you. But I don't know. Someone who knows more than me, tell me what's wrong with me. But
I remember when I was a kid, we went to Hy-Vee, which you guys don't know what Hy-Vee is. It's a grocery store here I don't know how local it is.
It's Midwestern.
Yeah,
because it started in Iowa, Nebraska. Yeah. There's one up north. There's Kansas City. The Chiefs are sponsored by the Kansas City Chiefs, sponsored by Hy-Vee. So
regardless, I digress.
It's a Vons.
Yeah,
if you're in California,
or Baker's or Kroger's. But we were there, and I would do this thing as a kid where I would just try to get free shit.
Sure.
And I was 7 years old. Cute little Lucian would walk up and be like, "Excuse me, can I have a slice of cheese?" And this lady would be slicing cheese on a deli slicer. And I remember she looked up and she was really pale. She looked like the haircut guy from Courage the Cowardly Dog, but like a lady with longer blonde hair that stopped right here, and then she had 2 different color eyes. And it scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
And then she gave me a slice of cheese and I dropped it and ran away screaming. And forever that lady was in my nightmares. Because I was a child and I did not yet understand that some people are different.
Yeah.
Or people can be born with 2 different color eyes or have different things like that. And that was the first time as a child I'd ever experienced something like that. So obviously human nature, what we don't understand, we fear initially. So I was scared shitless. I was like, what the fuck?
Right.
It's when you see a demon in a movie with white contact eyes and you're like, oh my God, that's freaky.
You're from hell.
You're it's a Deadite.
Right.
I was just so scared. And I remember being a child and things like that would scare the shit out of me. But as I got older, I was like, wow, I'm ignorant as fuck.
Well, the more experience you get, again, you already said it.
I was 6.
Fear is the lack of understanding.
Right.
Whether it's again, you can get political and people are I don't understand these people. It's well, you're scared of them and you don't like it because you don't understand them.
Right.
That's all it really. But again, and if you do understand them, you still don't like them, well, then fuck them. I guess it's just, that's on you. But to me, again, there's just certain things that, again, the first time you see something is what spooks you the most,
Yeah.
And being younger, when you're a kid, things are inherently more scary and more impressionable.
Yeah.
But every year, speaking of things that you like to do, and which I haven't done this year necessarily yet, but I probably will on Halloween, the evening after I'm done handing out candy and shit, is throw on the VR headset and go play Resident Evil 4.
Nice.
Resident Evil 4
the other year
is one of my favorite. Resident Evil's in my top probably 3 or 5 franchises of all video gaming. The movies, people like those, but I don't think they're as good as the games by any means, and a lot of people will agree. But point is, every year I really like playing Resident Evil 4 because I remember when that game came out in 2005, so I would have been 12 bordering on 13. So that's right in 6th grade where you're starting to get a little bit older, but you're not trick or treating as much around by when you're a teenager, but you still, that's prime time to go to fucking, haunted houses and hang out with your friends. You can still kind of get away with trick or treating, Halloween parties. playing Resident Evil 4, and if you've played that game, you know exactly where I'm going because it's a horror franchise, but like the fucking regenerators, the thing that when you get to the back half of the game, you're in a hospital and you have to walk in, all you hear is like that weird, like ragged, like breathing the whole time. And then like you turn the corner, there's just this big lumbering fucking thing that's like way taller than your character it's supposed to be. Teeth like out to fucking here, almost like this from like the Molten logo that we have, which was an inspiration for it, to be honest. Big crazy teeth, beady red eyes, completely naked, blue, fucking giant gorged belly. And it just walks towards you like 1 fucking mile an hour, all weird, and it can't move right. It's all like twitchy the whole time. And I was like, I remember like the first time I was playing that game, I remember it vividly, like opening the door in the game, looking down the hallway, you're hearing like that, like it's like snorting and it can't breathe very well. And then you see it at the end of the fucking hallway. And I just paused the game and went, okay.
Oh, you just blew out all these candles.
I feel it. You feel the pressure.
It was the spirits.
It was the spirits. But like, I remember having to pause the game and being like, I don't know if I can do this. And then like, because it's, again, like if you've played the game or if you haven't, just look up Resident Evil 4 Regenerator. Yeah. And then, dude, you'll see why it's arguably, I think, if not one of the scariest villains in all of Resident Evil, period. Because a lot of the bosses get like over the top and crazy and like huge mutant shit. And like the original games were a little bit, they were supposed to be like cerebral survival horror because they had that fixed camera position, which made it hard to play those games. But you had to walk in a room and you have to like still like control your person from like second person. Yeah. Not third over the shoulder. It's not first. It's just a camera in the hallway. So it's like, it's hard to control it. And those first 2 games are a lot scarier. Same idea. Cause you just like kind of go into another room. And at the end of a room, a zombie that's eating someone just kind of like looks up and starts meandering towards you. And like, that's scary. But once it got to the point where now you're Leon Kennedy and you're controlling it over the shoulder, it made you so much more immersed because the first person stuff that they ended up doing with Resident Evil Village, that's not a great game, honestly. Like people love it, and I'm not saying it's not. It's a great game mechanically. It's just that Ethan Winters is kind of he's a pussy. I'm gonna say it. Like all the rest of these people are like scared and going through it, but they're still able to hone in their wits and fucking get it done. This guy's just like hey, the whole time and ends up like losing part of his hand and shit. And it's just like, you won't spoil the whole game if you still want to play it around this time of the year and you haven't. Because some people do like to just pop, like, I've never played this. This sounds like a good time to jump into something like Evil Dead. But yeah, there's only a few things in video games that have like really, and the older I get now, it really doesn't, I can't think of anything, like I said, now that I've been just numbed to it, that really freaks me the fuck out when I'm playing video games. But
dude, I can.
That's why I like playing Resident Evil in VR. And I won't let you go. But I was like, because even as many times as I've played that game and I know exactly what I'm doing, and I'm actually pretty good at it, even in the VR. Every now and again, you're like, you're shooting people and you can kind of hear it. And then you're like in your real time, look behind you and there's a guy right there and he's like trying to fucking grab you. And you're like, and you're like in your actual house, like flailing your arms and shit, even though you can't actually punch him. Like, it's pretty funny. I mean, like, that's always good content, is looking at just people playing VR and having to run through their fucking TV. Like, but
I love it.
What fucked you up?
So I played this game like 2 or 3 nights ago, called Homeless. Okay. It's $5 on Steam. I really think you should get it. You'd enjoy it. The premise is that you're a train yard, like subway train yard kind of security officer, and you have to like maintain the premises overnight. And along the night somewhere, you're checking the security cameras, and there's this like 9-foot tall, creepy, almost clown looking dude with like yellow eyes who's just like fucking with you on camera. Okay. And I won't give too much of it away, but there's like a lore behind it. There's a small story. It didn't go where I thought it was going to go. And it scared me a lot of the time. Like navigating through there, the way they do the sounds makes it so fucking scary. And you're like, oh my God, dude, someone's here. And you're trying to find this person and you can't. And you find someone else and it's not them. And then there's all this shit that happens. And then eventually you have to like try to kill this thing. And it's like fucking scary as shit. But once you get through it, you're like, wow, that was fun. Took me an hour to beat the game. Oh, awesome. But like $5 game, super fun experience, really fucking scary. And I like that there's a little bit of lore with it, but they didn't try to make it too much. Like, it's still very mysterious. So it makes it even creepier because you don't know enough about the character.
That's true. It's actually reminded me again because of these two things juxtaposition together. It reminds me, and now I'm seeing a pattern again. What it says about me, but it's like I've said before, and I've said this on other podcasts. But like my favorite scary movie of all time, even though it's not like the best and it's not something I watch all the time, is Nosferatu.
Yeah,
because of the idea,
you like the intensity,
of something. It's Michael Myers. Something's going to get you, and he's going to take his fucking time.
Yeah, it's not about doing it right now. You know, it's not Freddy.
Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. I'm going to kill you eventually. Yeah. And like, I think one of like the last times I remember sweating it when I was playing a video game is when it was a few years back when Resident Evil 2 remake came out, which is the one that the Dead by Daylight map is built on. So when you first meet Leon Kennedy, that's his first day as a police officer, a young rookie. Everybody's dead when he goes to the fucking precinct because no one knows this containment hasn't happened yet because it's supposed to be contained to that mansion in number 1. But there's and I've told you before too, even if it's not your style, Resident Evil 2, turn off all the lights, put your best headphones on. It'll freak you the fuck out because as many things as you're trying to do in that game, like the first, I would say probably, especially if you haven't played it and you don't know exactly where to go and how to do the puzzles that are always a giant part of Resident Evil. The puzzles are everything you need to do probably is about like 6 hours in the first like portion of the game. And then the other 6 to 15 hours, depending on how long you take, is in outside. Then you have to come back to the police precinct. The entire time you're there, Mr. X is like the abomination in this game. The whole point is you really don't fight him. He's invulnerable. You can't kill him until you have to do something specific in the game to go get stuff to do that with. And it's pre-Nemesis, which is number 3. And it's like, that's a spawn of Albert Wesker. But Mr. X, like I said, put on your best headphones. And I'm not going to hit it hard, but it's like, that's all you hear the whole time. No, slow, lumbering, walking.
Oh, God.
He's somewhere. You don't know where.
I hate that.
No idea where. But the entire time you're trying to do these missions because you can't get out of there. But then one of the cops tells you like, hey, there's an old secret tunnel we use obviously for like air raids or like if something really went wrong. There's a tunnel underneath the statue in the main. But here's like the 3 things. They're locked in these. We locked them in a safe in the office and we spread them out on purpose, much like an air base. So like if things go wrong, we have to have 2 or 3 people that all grab their thing, come to the middle, and we go in the tunnel. But I'm about to die. His like guts are all hanging out. He's like, but there's one over there and there's one in my office. I don't know where the other one is because we don't tell each other. You have to figure out where all of those are and how to get out of the building is the whole point while still like getting comms to try and figure out what's happening outside.
The whole time.
The whole 6 hours that you're trying to figure this out, he's just somewhere. And he's a big, huge dude wearing like a big, like cowboy looking fucking beret hat and just a giant overcoat. And like, he doesn't have any crazy powers. He's just going to grab you. And if he does grab you, he just pulls your head off your body. Like, he's just going to mutilate you if he does catch you. But like the entire time you're doing it, you're like, fuck, is it red and green that moves the fucking, you're trying to like move little like knobs and do stuff. And it's like, fuck, he's right. So then you got to go and like do a whole loop through the whole thing, lose him, heal, lure him over to one part of the building and then go and run all the way back to the other side of the building. And like, all right, where was I? And like start doing things. And
fuck that. That's scary as shit.
Yeah, that constant pace of I'm going to get you. And when I do, I'm going to hurt you violently. But do what you can, and then when you get out of it, then like I said, you get out of it and you do something, you have to come back and you have to kill him. Like that's the whole point of the whole thing. But like how and why, there's so many puzzles in that game, and like there's 2 different ways to play too, which is cool. You can either be Leon, or you can do a completely different story as Claire, who's Chris Redfield's sister, and she just went to the police precinct to go find him, but he had already left because she doesn't know that he's doing stuff in number 1 at the same time, you know? So like you can play as Leon the whole time and do those puzzles, but then if you play as her, same kind of trope, always following you, always walking after you, but completely different puzzles, completely different stuff because you're not a cop.
That's exhausting.
So you don't have the same like knowledge that Leon would, and like you don't really know how to use a gun very well, so her accuracy's down, but she has more health. Like things to balance as a video game, but that was the last time I remember playing that, like a game where, again, all the lights off, it's 12:30 in the morning, my headphones are on, and I'm like sitting in my basement, like cold sweating, trying to fucking do puzzles. like I remember like having to like not like be too scared, but just the pressure. It wasn't more like I'm gonna scream. It was more like oh fuck, I really want to do this.
Fucking homeless. I screamed a couple times. There was like once or twice that were jump scares, and I was like, ah.
Yeah.
And there's this part where you have to hide in a bathroom stall, and he's so tall that he's like 3 feet, 4 feet over the stall, and you're like,
yeah, dude,
he's gonna see me. Like, it's so scary.
Well, even that, and like even ever to get the funniest clip we have on Dead by Daylight. Honestly, I saved a long time ago. It's like me and you in the chat or with our buddy Nate, and like Michael Myers has a power in that game where, like, much like Scream has in that game, where if he is able to stalk you, then like that game's trope is that it has like a heartbeat that pumps up when they're getting closer, so you have a chance to run. Mm-hmm. If he's spying on you, you can't hear the heartbeat. Yeah. And the funniest fucking thing is I was there, we're sitting there, I was like doing a generator, and Nate was like, who's the killer? I was like, I don't know yet. Fuck him. I bet he's weak anyways. And like, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do this thing. And it just like
grabs you off the generator. Like,
oh god! Yeah. Like, it was one of the funniest because I was like, yeah, dude, fuck this guy. I bet he sucks. He's trying to just got ripped off the generator like right when I said it.
I'll never forget. We still have it up on our YouTube page, so if you guys are watching this, check out the Dead by Daylight video we have. But there's one where we like edited in DJ Khaled every time we'd pallet Michael Myers. It's like another one, another one, another one. We palleted this dude like 2 or 3 times in a row. And like I was in the Freddy map, and there's a part where you go around, and there's like clearly one area to get around to the second spot, but a pallet blocks it. So like I threw the pallet early and then went around so he couldn't get to me, and I just butt danced for like 30 seconds.
That was the most fun.
I was like, I'm gonna fuck with this guy. Like, I love that game. It comes in waves, but it is so, the meme potential for Dead by Daylight is so real, and it can be scary.
It's one of them that gets my heart pumping.
Yeah,
because when you finally get everything done and you want to leave, but you know, like we've done everything right. We're on the, but like this guy's still got one chance. Well, he knows where I'm going. I'm going to the exit.
So it's just like, you know, he's gonna be there, and you're running
faster than him.
Your adrenaline starts kicking in, and you're just like fuck. What's the
adrenaline of like when you're playing Call of Duty Warzones and you're finally like, oh shit, there's only 2 squads and we're one of them? Or like fucking you can play Battle Royale or Fall Guys.
There's a clip on Twitch right now when I was playing DBD like last week, and something happened, like this dude was in a broken status or something like that, where I couldn't heal him. Oh. And he kept coming up to me like, heal me.
I can't, brother.
In the shack. And I was like, I literally did this, and I was like, I can't, bro. And I clipped it too. So if he was watching my Twitch, he would have seen what I was saying. And he's just like throwing down the pallet at Shaq and vaulting over it like 5 times to attract the killer. And I was like, fuck you. So I left, and then this dude ends up dying. And right when he dies, I'm right by his hook, and Michael sees me, Michael Myers again. Yeah. And I threw down a pallet and just ran for it. And I remember, dude, like I must have lost a couple pounds in just like the adrenaline that was kicking in. I was like, oh my God. And I got the fucking hatch. And I was like, dear Lord. Like,
right when they're about to like.
Yeah, right when they're about to get you, you get the hatch, and you're like, dear God.
Oh, yeah, dude. That game does get your blood pumping because it's supposed to be scary. But it's also, again, it's the idea of like.
Because it's a different scary.
While I'm playing and I'm running from someone, I'm not like, oh no. I'm just like trying to play a video game. Right. But then when it's the end, and you have like, whoop, and the doors open, you're like, okay, now here's the defining factor. Do we get out or not? Was all this worth it or not?
Or worst case scenario, they have that perk Blood Warden, so when they open the gates and then they hook somebody, it blocks the gates for like a minute, and everyone's like, oh my God, he knows where we are and we can't leave. What the fuck do we do?
Yeah, dude. Then you got to go hide again while the timer's like running out too before the doors permanently close.
There's so many situations that are scary in that game, but it's not the type of fear you would think.
Impending doom is like the fear that I fear the most, I suppose. And like, I guess that's what gets my blood pumping the most. The idea, like I said, that I'm going to get you and there's nothing you can do about it, or we all know what's happening, and now it's like basically like we're gonna have to fight to the death over this shit, and like or some. That's what's always freaks me out like the most, I suppose. And that's why I always look for kind of. I like cerebral horror a lot more, like the idea that like. Even not in horror movies, but like there's like one trope that can get me every time. If I'm watching an action movie and someone like reads a piece of paper and looks at me and goes, this goes way deeper than we thought. This goes all the way back up to the top brass.
I'm top brass.
You got me. Now I'm in.
So every Steven Seagal movie ever?
Oh, dude, they're the best. Not really. I don't.
Like the one where he's only sitting in a chair the whole time?
Oh, yeah. Weird.
That's a horror movie.
That is scary. I don't want to hang out
No,
with
there's
him.
a lot of different types of horror. We were just talking about that before this episode because I brought up that movie Heretic, I think, with Hugh Grant. And I want to see that because it looks very psychological. And the mystery behind it is obviously why I want to see it. It looks to be like one of the best A24 movies. That's
A24.
I think it's A24 at least. But
well, they make their quality, man.
Cerebral horror, if anything else. But
which is cool.
And then, stuff like Terrifier is scary, but it's more for the kids like me that are desensitized to this shit, and we're looking for something that can make us feel that again.
Right. And because again, like bloody stuff doesn't, everybody gets that, like if you watch like a basically like a torture flick, if you will, it gets you that disgusting pit in your stomach the whole time. And some people, they cannot watch it because it is like they get in that headspace, or some people it does just scare the fuck out of them because they see the reality in it. To me and you, I can watch gore and blood all fucking day and just be like, damn, that was crazy. Because the amount of gore, the amount of blood, the fact that it's so probably unlikely, I can separate that headcanon.
Yeah, like the Kill Billism of it.
Yeah, it doesn't fuck with me. Yeah. It's more like ghosts don't fuck with me too much either. But like things like the Ring and the Grudge don't scare me either too much. But like closer to that vein where it's like, this is scary because no one knows what the fuck is going on.
It's the mystery of it all.
Or what to do or how to deal with it. And
that
like,
makes sense.
Or like I said, like with Nosferatu, like the craziest part of that silent film is like she's sitting in her bed having like cold sweats, can't figure out why. It's just kind of like, I've been hearing all these weird shit. And she kind of just like, just gonna kind of get up and like look out my window, and then like it
just starts like getting closer.
Zoom pans to like a pair of eyes, and then you just see him like sitting in the fucking window. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of yards away, but like she knows it's him. He knows exactly where she is. I've been waiting for you to look at me. Like that freaks me the fuck out. And like the last little like before she actually gets like fucked up by him, where like she runs into like the church and then like goes down in the hallway, and she's at the end of the hallway, and then he does his little like his little levitate thing down the hallway, and she's trying to find a way out. You're in a tomb. There is nowhere else to go. Like. That shit always, I love that trope. I love that idea of impending doom. I think that's what gets me the most. And so there's certain stuff that obviously like jump scares, a good jump scare will get anybody.
God, I think like, but if you haven't yet, I really think you should get into the Evil Dead movies because there is a huge sense of that in the story.
Yeah, I've watched the very first one or the second one in the 80s.
Was it funny and slapstick comedy?
Kinda.
That's 2.
Yeah, I think so 2 is
basically a retelling of 1.
Okay.
It's the same story. 1 is just very intense and it's meant to be scary. Yeah. 2 is like the same exact thing, but they were like, let's make Three Stooges comedy in it and like crazy camera angles and shit like that. It kind of started the franchise to be something different. And then Army of Darkness after that is just like funny.
I think a great blend of the two things that I'm trying to think about, which is again not even like my favorite of them, but like the Rob Zombie shit.
Yeah,
the House of a Thousand Corpses or Three from Hell. That kind of shit.
Psycho hillbilly shit.
Right, where it's just like these are just people. Yeah, like they're just fucked up people that live out there, and they're like, yeah, I'll help you fix your truck.
There's realism behind it. Yeah,
and then like obviously you're finding all this like the gore and like. When Dwight from The Office, his character like gets like
Fishman.
Yeah, like he's like, I present to you Fishman. Yeah. And it's like she's losing her fucking mind because it's like her husband who just got mutilated. And this guy's just like, I made art out of your body. Yeah. Like that's the blending between like psychological impending doom and just straight bloody gore for the hell of it.
You should watch Lords of Salem. Have you seen Lords of Salem?
Yes.
That's a very good impending doom kind of
That's up there with them as well. I agree.
Very good. It's very artsy, and I feel like everyone hated it when it came out, but like it's his attempt at doing something different while still sticking to like the fucked upness of Rob Zombie.
Yeah. Which again, I don't think they're the best like written movies or like they're the best creative
not by any means.
But, like,
it's just that he's got a flavor and he sticks to
everyone's seen. I can't remember the guy that passed away, Sid whatever, but like his
Sid Haig,
his character, Captain
Spaulding,
that one, that one, the clown. Everyone's seen that picture somewhere. Yeah, everyone's seen that.
I have
guy.
the fucking action figure right over there.
Oh yeah, he is right there. Yeah. But like, like again, I think that those movies, what they did for horror was kind of evolve a little bit of like, hey, not only is Rob Zombie doing this, like. Which probably really did push that movie up in notoriety and he had the money, he had the studio, he had the actors that would come do it because of who he is, which made it better. But like, it's not the best written thing. The story's kind of sloppy. Then the second one and the third one just basically like, how did we get here and how did they die? But like, The Hills Have Eyes is another one that's kind of like in that, especially the more modern one where there's like, it gets into like some sexual horror stuff and like.
I have a crazy story about that actually that ties some things together here. So back in the day, in The Hills Have Eyes, in one of the scenes, there's a Jaws poster and it's ripped in half. Okay. They did that to say Jaws is nothing compared to this movie. Like this is horror.
Yeah, because the original one in this, that started that.
Then Evil Dead saw that. Sam Raimi saw that. So he did that with the Hills Have Eyes. He did a Hills Have Eyes poster in the cabin and he ripped it in half. Then Wes Craven was like, I really love Evil Dead. So he put on the TV, Nancy's watching Evil Dead in Nightmare on Elm Street, the first movie. Then Sam Raimi was like, I love Nightmare on Elm Street. That's a great movie. So they put Freddy's claw in the shed for Evil Dead 2. It's like it keeps going back and forth. All these movies like either pay homage to each other or like give a reference to each other.
Right.
I think it's cool.
And again, obviously, dorks like us, you'll be like, is it the same universe?
Yeah,
like,
right.
You know what I mean?
Oh my God, is it in that universe?
Which again, we've talked about that like just the other day, just like having other like things that you don't know are in the same canon, like be in the same canon. Like this game is actually based in this universe, like Apex Legends. I think we mentioned it maybe in this podcast. Like the free for all battle royale Apex Legends is technically in the same universe as Titanfall. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but that shit I love too. Where it's like
you find that shit out later.
Did you know that this is in the same? Supposed to be like these people exist in the same plane.
Yeah.
Which again, that's why Dead by Daylight was cool to bring everything. Yeah. Like they don't, but now they do.
Yeah, we can make it that way. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like this is it's the best time of the year.
Hell yeah.
And I personally am more of like a cold weather person in a way. I love the summer. I love swimming, going to the lake, doing boating, fucking getting to skate, like being able just to go out until 9:30 and it's still light outside so I can walk like just little things that the summer give to you. I love it. But like if you were like forced with the choice being like, you have to leave this town and we're going to help you and it's going to be fucking sick. Yeah. But you have to pick two places. You can either go live on like a beach house in Florida.
This is too much stress. I don't like it.
You can live in like a log cabin in Colorado.
I live in a log cabin.
You know where I'm going.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm going to go snowboard every day. I'd rather it be cold and kind of snowy and just bundle up and deal with it.
And secure in a cabin and like just have your Wi-Fi and your heater. And
playing video games during the day. Like working. Like honestly, if like I can retire and Kayla, my wife, can get a job somewhere in Colorado or whatever. Bro, all I want to do is go.
Me and you could go work on a ski lift fucking place and just be those two fucking little Nicky dudes at a fucking ski resort and be like, hey man, I know where the Black Diamond slopes are, brother.
Let's go.
I'll take you up on my fucking snowmobile.
Yeah, dude, I'd love that. Just like because most of those guys, they say that they have
casualties in a horror movie.
Like, what's the fun of it is like you're just taking people up and down the ski lifts, and you're like running supplies for people and making sure everything's safe. But like most of your day is just kind of working at the shack. And then
so much fun.
And then when you have to go home, there's only one way off the mountain, man. You have to snowboard down the fucking mountain. It's awesome. Or snowmobile or ski.
Plow, man.
Yeah. All right, I'll see you guys later. I'm gonna snap on the thing and take one more run down there.
Hell yeah.
Like that sounds so much fun. Just getting to snowboard.
Imagine
every day.
like being able to snowboard right to your house.
Yeah, exactly. And
That'd
like
so much fun.
Again, that's a rich person sport skiing.
Yeah.
So like,
oh god, yeah, there's money there.
You're probably making some decent money, even
Get
if you're making
tub.
like $25 an hour. You're probably getting tips. You're probably getting to work. I would love fucking doing that more than I'd like being like a lifeguard or like a beach hand.
Last time I went snowboarding in Breckenridge, I got mountain sickness. And I ended up throwing up in a hot tub for 2 days. It was cool.
That altitude while you're trying to do shit will get you.
Don't know why I got back in the hot tub the second day. Like, I was very sick.
I'm very weary and ill.
I was like, I'm weak. And they're like, dude, get out of the hot tub. You've been in that hot tub for like 4 hours.
It's my puke. Get out. You don't want it. I'll claim it for myself.
That's just about as scary as any horror movie, man.
Yeah, dude. Like I said, this is a great time of year. I love everything about it, basically. Like I said, and I know that it's, some people don't really care about Halloween. Some people, like, again, the holidays bum them out. Not trying to leave us on a sad note, but I'm just saying, hey, man, there's always something about when it starts to get cold, especially because if you live in like LA, it never really gets cold.
Yeah.
And that's part of the appeal. I get you guys if you live there, you didn't pick the mountain cabin.
Here in the heartland, brothers,
we get all of them. And like I said, and it sounds like you're justifying for like, I stay here because I love the seasons.
Well,
like
I still do.
Yeah, I do. I do. And I know that a lot of people will be like, man, if you could just live where it was 77 every day and you could swim or do whatever you wanted every day and it's nice and chill. Like basically San Francisco weather, if you had the money to live there kind of thing. Like it's never colder than 40. It's never hotter than 80.
Probably don't even need air conditioning.
No. They just go through a heat wave because October is fucking crazy for them.
It's been like really warm lately.
But that's unseasonal. That's not normal. But like for us, it's like, once the spring finally cracks and like you can finally go outside and it's 50 degrees, you're like, oh, I feel new life. I made it through again. Much like we're talking about, even though we don't have to live in the fucking woods, burning wood to survive, like when you make it out of the winter and the first day you don't have to scrape your car and you can wear a t-shirt, you're like, you feel like you accomplished something.
Yeah, you've survived.
But coming up to it now, we still got basically like 2 months, because December is when it starts getting kind of fucked. And then like January, February, bro.
Are super fucked.
This last year, we hit like a record low. So like, again, if you're nowhere near us, like fucking dude, Omaha gets 100, it's 100 in July, and it hit -20 real temperature in February.
Yeah,
like,
it was bad.
We get them all. And so it does give you an appreciation for what you get to do. And then like for us, for making content, like it really does help in a way, because it's like, well, dude, I do need to still exercise, go to the gym, or do what I got to do to be a normal person, go to the store. And that kind of sucks when it's snowy.
Yeah.
But then, like, yeah, dude, it's dark at 5, and like, there's
it's fucking 20 degrees,
nothing to do.
negative 20
I can't
degrees.
go to the park with my homies. I'm not camping.
We're playing games.
But guess what, man? It's time to hunker down when I get off work and make fucking content, because I got nothing else to do.
Right.
Like, so I mean, like,
it's the busy season for us.
It's the first snow of the year. It's time for Minecraft.
Hell yeah.
But.
Well, we hope you guys have enjoyed our spooky talk and look into Halloween and kind of just discussing our traditions. Let us know in the comments below, what are your Halloween traditions? What are your favorite Halloween movies? What scares you?
Did you know you can comment on Spotify now?
Yeah.
I had no idea until like a week ago that you can leave Spotify comments. So again, being that's one of our, the biggest, and we're on YouTube, but like we're anywhere you want to leave us, drop us a note, Instagram, Facebook. We have pages for both of those.
It's kind of been like a war between Apple Podcasts and Spotify lately. So we'll kind of see who comes out in the end, but
that's true.
Keep supporting and fight the good fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we appreciate you, no matter whether you're just throwing this on YouTube to watch it, put it background while you're working, anywhere and everywhere. We have a little break after this one, so we won't have an episode next week, but then we're going to come back with another one that I just recorded and we're going to do the editing for. So without further ado, though, let's wrap up this Halloween episode with an interview that Lucian did with Salem Vex.
What is going on, metalheads? You are watching and listening to Metal Massacre, the only show that's not afraid to go to creepy and dark, weird places. With me, someone that has a very storied, very long musical past. I've been doing some research on you, and I'm excited to talk to him today. Everybody, Salem Vex from Crucifixion is here.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing?
Dude, it's an honor. Thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Dude, 100%.
I've been watching what you've been doing for a while and just kind of like taking notes, because you've got an aesthetic, and every project you're in doesn't necessarily have to have the same aesthetic, but it's all within the Salem Vex brand. And you've done a really good job of branding yourself. Like, how did that come about? Was that something you always knew you were going to do as an artist, or did you pick that up along the way, or learn it from somebody, or was this something that kind of grew over time?
I would say it kind of grew over time. I figured out that like it would make more sense to kind of have a brand around my name compared to just like the band speaking for themselves, I guess. And I feel like I probably made that around like maybe like 2018 or something. But yeah, I think my like perspective on it is just coming from like artists and bands that I've liked over time. People like Marilyn Manson or whatever, that have like kind of that larger than life image thing. Was just something that I was really attached to, and I've always had like a I guess creative side that I like expressing, and people respond well to it.
I think it's interesting for me because your aesthetic, I would say it does. Okay, I could see the Marilyn Manson for sure. It's its own brand though. It's its own like flavor of that general aesthetic. But the music, that's what took me for a loop, especially with Crucifixion, that project. It being deathcore, I haven't heard good deathcore in a long time, and it seemed like you were taking notes from artists that were kind of defining the genre maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, but putting this new spin on it, which I thought was really refreshing. Was deathcore something you always wanted to get into, or was this something again that kind of just happened?
Yeah, I would say that deathcore was like the first thing that I got into when it came to metal and stuff. And when I was doing projects like Bloodbather, I always knew that I wanted to explore that, like the deathcore side and stuff. And I had jokes with Jeff being like, we're gonna end up like a deathcore band. eventually, and now I'm in a deathcore band. But yeah, like I would say the OGs definitely inspired me. Like the first Dire Does Murder EP and Suicide Silence and Whitechapel and bands like that were just like huge fucking inspiration. And that's kind of the reason why I started Crucifixion and made it sound the way it does, because I feel like that sound is kind of lost upon like modern deathcore bands. And I just wanted to bring back something that was like raw and felt, scary, and had fucking crazy lyrics and stuff. And
Yeah,
yeah.
it's got some balls to it.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know?
there's not a lot of deathcore with balls right now, sadly.
Dude, I don't know when it happened. It must be in like the last 5 or 6 years or something. But like somewhere
Yeah,
along the line, deathcore fizzled out in terms of what it was once. It's now changing into something else. And I don't understand it. I think that's the nature of subcultures and genres and subgenres, is like the need to evolve. But because you look at all the staple ones, and a lot of them have died off because they were a time in history. But
mhm,
deathcore is one of those ones that for me, it's just been changing. Like, for example, new Acacia Strain is nothing like old Acacia Strain,
yeah,
or new Oceano being way more digital and way more mass produced, ironically, than any of the stuff off Depths. Like, it's just interesting for me to see that kind of transition. But you do this really nice thing where you pay homage to all of these like artists before you, but you add your own note, you add your own chapter. And I think there's something to be commended with that. So I
that was
really,
cute.
that was my wife.
Hello.
I really appreciate, she's used to me podcasting like every other day. So she's just like, oh, hey, what's up?
Uh, yeah, no, I mean, I wanted to add my own flavor and I guess like spice to it, but yeah, not. I mean, it's crazy because a lot of those bands have records that I liked a long time ago,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, seeing the progression, it's I have to respect that as an artist, but I don't like it. I mean, I don't like what a lot of these bands ended up sounding like, but I understand that like as an artist myself, I like trying new things, and maybe they just got bored of doing the same thing for a while. But I think there's bands like Whitechapel, for example, like their new single is
Yeah.
fucking sick, and it's like
disgusting and in the best way.
it's perfect because
Yeah.
I can't even say it sounds like old deathcore because it doesn't. It
Mm-mm.
sounds like new deathcore, but like in a good way. It sounds like they're actually trying to, I guess, further the genre, but stay like fucking brutal.
Well, they
So
were
I
one of
think
those
seeing
ones
bands
that
like that is
scared
cool.
me for a while because they changed their logo into this like safe, like
Yeah.
just logo. And I was like, what are you doing? Are you trying to be this like new post-hardcore style thing? Like, what's going on? And the music never really went too far off. But then, yeah, that new single, I had a buddy literally call me. He works like 70 hours a week, and he's like, I got to call him. So he calls me and he's like, you got to talk about this on your show, this new one. He goes, remember songs like Vicer Exciser and all
Mhm.
those? And I was like, oh, yeah. He's like, dude, it's just as gross. Like the lyrics are back to being just nasty ass lyrics. And that got me really excited because, God, no one does that shit anymore. I mean, unless you're talking about like Cannibal Corpse and death metal, like people don't do disgusting lyrics anymore or try to like scare people.
Yeah,
And I feel like
which
that's something you brought back into it with your music, is like you're not trying to scare people, but you're trying to elicit a response.
yeah, and I mean, I took a lot of like nods and cues from bands like that had, pretty over the top lyrics. And there was moments in the record where, I was just in another interview where someone was asking like, "Oh, did you ever like feel like you needed to tone it up?" And I feel like I toned it down. If anything, there was
Really?
some lyrics that I was like, "Fucking, I can't even release this. I'll fucking get my life ruined." So I was
Someone's
like,
gonna come after me in 2024 if I release this shit.
yeah, so I mean, but maybe on the next record. But yeah, no, I think it's really cool to make a record that actually feels as psychopathic as I guess it sounds compared to, I feel like most bands just start writing lyrics about like the fucking earth and the sky and fucking bullshit that doesn't even matter.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. I think for me, you got to start with an aesthetic. And I'm a vocalist, so like that is my mindset, is where are we at? What are things like in all the senses, And
Mhm.
then from there, it's like piecing it all together. And it feels like you had a cohesive thought for each one of these tracks. I got to tell you, VHS is my favorite.
Hell yeah.
I think that one slaps just a little bit harder. but I may also just be partial to the style it's in.
Yeah.
But I can't wait to see what you're gonna do with this band now. Are you going the EP route, or are you gonna go full album?
I don't know, cause it's like chasing like this weird, I fucking hate the TikToky fucking,
Same.
small attention span bullshit. I think making an album is like the coolest thing
It's
ever. Just a full
commendable.
body. Huh?
It's commendable. It's like
Yeah.
an achievement, like a lot of any band can put out a 3 to 5 song EP.
Yeah.
It's like a full album is a whole thought.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think you should totally go the album route, dude. Like even
Yeah.
if you put in some like some skits or some like interludes or something to fill the space that kind of fills that, I guess, the need to build a aesthetic or a experience. But I would totally, I would rather see you do an album and listen to that whole thing and sit down and have an experience with it than just like put on an EP when I'm driving. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I feel the same way. I mean, there's so many records, like just to name one, like Infinite Death by the Irish Murder. Like I wish that
Mm.
was a full album so bad. Like I wish it was I would fucking I listen to that EP like every week. I couldn't even imagine what they could have done if it had like more space on it. So, I mean, yeah, no, I'm completely into like the album route, and also like I'm glad that like Rise was down for like the first album to be a full album, and like just come out of the gate like not giving a fuck, because most people would probably just be like, oh, you should just release some singles or an EP for. I'm like, fuck that shit. Like, let's just fucking kill it out of the gate.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you want to put your best foot forward when you're representing your brand that way. Like I get
Yeah.
that. So a lot of people might not know this, but you have a pretty long musical past.
Yes.
What are some of the other projects you are currently working on or have in the past?
Yeah, so I mean, I guess like my biggest past thing would be Bloodbather. That was the thing that I started in like 2016, and ended around last year. And then I'm in a band called the Requiem, and we're like a emo rock band.
Nice.
And then I also do like solo music, and I've produced a lot for like other people as well.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I've been playing for a couple years now, but I did a lot when I was in my like early 20s. Now I'm in my early 30s and coming back to it and realizing it's not the same as it was back then. Like
It is not.
it's so much harder, and it just becomes a thing where you're like, all right, this is a priority. I need to like change things in my life to make this a priority,
100%, 100%.
Like for me, I'm like I do vocals, and I scream and I sing and I do all types. I'm not one of those vocalists that just does one style. I
Mhm.
like to kind of like every song requires something else, I guess.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm like, man, I gotta start like running or something. Like I gotta like get back in the gym, brother. Like lose that extra 30.
I fucking that was like one of the things that I got ready for this record to do, was just go to the gym a lot, because like for the character that I wanted to play, it was like someone that looked like Brad Pitt from Fight Club or something in my brain. And I was going to the gym so much, and yeah, I mean, that was like half the getting ready for the process of the record, was just like eating like plain as fuck and going to the gym to like make sure I can like be in shape too for live and
Discipline,
stuff.
man.
So
Yeah. I'll show it for the YouTube watch, or for everyone on YouTube. But if you're listening, you won't see it. I got a Fight Club tattoos.
Oh, that's
Brad
fucking
Pitt
sick.
and Edward Norton. It's a trash polka, so it's to be like kind of like when you see a 3D picture.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't want to do red and blue because it was making me dizzy.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
fucking sick.
I love that movie. I saw it when I was like 9 years old in the theater. Like it's been a huge influence on me for sure. And then I got into the book, and it was even bigger. And I was like, holy shit. Like I got into a lot of his. Have you read any of his stuff?
No, I actually haven't. I probably should, because I like reading too.
My brother in Satan. You need to read this book. So there's a whole extra part after the ending in the book that you never really get from the movie.
Okay.
And it adds a whole layer that's not there. So it's like they purposely left that off to make it a whole different experience, which is cool. But dude, get into his books. I think you would definitely find motivation for lyrics, definitely find motivation for just like concepts, to be honest. I read another one called Haunted, and you would really enjoy it. I think it's about 30 writers that lock themselves in a abandoned movie theater for like a month, in order to do like a Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, where you're like trapped in one place and you write a masterpiece.
Hmm.
And while they're writing their stuff, they're all telling these really fucked up stories about their lives. And honestly, it's one of those books where I read it and there was like me before I read it and me after I read it. And
Holy
it,
shit.
yeah, it's called Haunted by Chuck Palahniuk. Dude,
Okay.
the dude is a genius. Read that and Fight Club, and then like maybe get back to me. We'll do another episode later down the line and talk about it, because I think getting your opinion on that you're a Fight Club fan would be really, really cool.
Nah, dude, I'm down, and I always have new fucking music coming out, so we could tie something in.
Oh, for sure. We're gonna have to keep doing updates for sure. But I'm not done with you yet. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah, no, I'm not. We're not tying up yet.
So, how much pop culture influences your work? Like you said, Fight Club obviously was an inspiration for a look in a video, but like, are there any other, I guess, artists, movies, anything like that that kind of speaks to you in that way?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like every band and everything that I do has like a specific influence, and definitely always ties back to movies. I'm really big into movies. I mean, fucking, I'm surrounded by, posters and stuff.
Nice.
And I try to watch, a movie or two a week now. I was getting around like one or two a day at a certain point, which was pretty fucking bad. But yeah, I mean,
That's not bad.
yeah, I mean, it's not bad, but I was ignoring some work. But yeah, no, I mean, this band was heavily influenced by like movies like Audition and 8 millimeter and Nightcrawler and American Psycho and
Nice.
a bunch of movies like that was like really big inspiration on like the concept and stuff. And then yeah, just in my life, I mean, I love fucking love like seeing movies in like theaters and like I don't know, like meeting directors and stuff. Like last year, I got to meet one of my favorite directors, Gregor Rocky, and that was awesome. James Duvall was also there. He's an actor in one of the movies, and yeah, I fucking I love watching movies. It's a big inspiration on me. I would like pop culture in general, though. I mean, not really much. I would say movies are like the biggest inspiration for me, but like everything else, I think is like kind of shit. So.
No, I feel it. There's only like I watch a lot of movies and I listen to a lot of music and watch some TV. Like I'm really picky about TV because I feel like it can be a waste of time.
Mhm.
But like there's always like franchises you stick with your whole life.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was like Evil Dead, stuff like that. So if
Scream
there's
for
ever
me.
an Evil Dead thing, oh, it's Scream for you.
Yeah.
Did you watch 6?
Yes.
How was it? I didn't see it, but I know what happens because I'm a Dead Meat fan.
Yeah. It was good. It was good. It was entertaining.
Did
It's
it
what a
hold up to
Scream
the
movie
hype?
should be.
Okay. See, it seemed like they were going more violent with it, and that kind of like invested me a little bit.
Hmm.
And I spoiled it like I always do, and I watched the dead meat kill count, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh man, now I know what happens. Do I really want to watch it?" And
Nah, you probably should. It was entertaining. That's all I can say. It was
okay,
entertaining. The kills were fucking brutal too.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a huge kills guy. Like, I'm waiting to see Terrifier 3.
Oh
Uh,
hell
I
yeah.
think that's the 17th of October. Which,
I'll
if you're
say
listening to this, it should be out already.
yeah. I'll say that I just watched because I'm a big movie theater guy, like just in general with new movies too, and everything has been so fucking ass lately. But
For sure.
I saw The Substance
Oh, how
a couple
was
days
that?
ago. Fucking incredible. That was possibly the best movie I've seen in a movie theater in like 5 years. It was
Really?
fucked. It was body horror. I love body horror, and it was all body horror, and the concept was sick. It had a cool like a story, I guess that I feel like people need to, I guess maybe think about when it
For
comes to
sure.
like self-image and shit and aging. But yeah, that movie was fucked. It was like one of those movies where you leave the theater and you're just like, that was awesome. It was amazing. So I gave it like, I don't know if you know what Letterboxd is,
Yeah, yeah.
but I gave it a 4.5 out of 5, which is
Damn.
crazy for me. That's like reserved for like some of my favorite movies.
I like that. That's really
Yeah.
cool. That's a shining review right there. I have to see this now.
Yeah,
I
no,
saw,
don't
I
even watch
saw,
any previews. Just show up.
I didn't want to see previews. I saw all the advertising for it, and I thought it looked really interesting just based off the viral marketing they did.
Yeah, it's nothing like it too, really. Like they don't give away anything, which is fucking sick. I didn't
That's
watch
good.
anything though. I was literally just like, I'm gonna fucking see this movie.
Hell yeah. Do you have any like Halloween traditions that you get into every year? What's your thing?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, carving pumpkins with my friends has always been
Nice.
like something that I always do, even if I have to like, if one year it doesn't work out and I only have to carve it with like one person, it's like I always carve some pumpkins because that's like super fun for me. And
Are you
um,
like an intricate pumpkin carver, or do you just do like a really cool face?
I do the OGs. Like
Nice.
I've done one that was like kind of intricate, but I always go back to just like the OG pumpkin design. You know what I
Hell
mean?
yeah. It's a
But
classic.
yeah, it's classic, and you get the candle and stuff and light it up. Like I'm really into like that DIY old school shit. And then I watch like, Halloween Town and Hocus Pocus and all like the like kind of the corny kid movies. Like
Yeah, bro, you're
sometimes
speaking
I'll
my language.
yeah, I'll watch like the fucking, the horror movie of, the month or whatever the fuck. But like I really like watching like the stuff that got me into like Halloween as a kid. And it's like one of those like things that like you just feel like a kid again.
Yeah. No, I totally understand that. Like
Yeah.
when I have anybody over at my house on Halloween, I feel like I'm always trying to watch Halloween movies with them. And
Yeah.
it can probably get annoying to a certain extent, but yeah, I think Terrifier 3 is that next one I'm so excited for because it's trying to up the ante, and they keep upping the ante every movie. And
Hmm.
I'm a big fan for like what can you get away with.
Yeah.
So like we'll see how that ends up. But as far as horror movies is concerned, there's not a lot else that I'm like super invested in. So I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, Substance, I would definitely say 100% watch it. I didn't like Long Legs that much. I know that's like a new one that people were really into. Thought it was okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that movie really fucking but I like more than horror in general. But yeah, I would say that movie was like fuck.
Did you think they went too artsy with Long Legs?
I didn't like the fucking like the what is it called, like the spiritually like whatever the fuck ending.
Mm,
Like I thought it was gonna be like like True Detective, like true crime, and then at the end when it became like supernatural, I was like, what the fuck? Like that's such an easy fucking sellout. But
yeah.
I also am like kind of over like the A24 look, like
Mm.
that
Very
just like
clean, very washed out, very like
yeah, and very like
yeah,
I don't know, like the zooming that's like very like digital and stuff. It's just like
yeah.
I like movies that look like fucking movies. You know what I mean? Like I love classic looking movies. Definitely
Oh
like
yeah.
horror too. Like don't even get me started on movies like Scream and stuff, like how they were
Oh,
filmed
for
or like
sure.
I Know What You Did Last Summer. Like it feels like a movie.
It's just grittier, like,
Yeah.
and you don't get that anymore with anything being so digitized, and I think it's such a shame. We actually have a buddy who runs a pop culture show or a pop culture shop down the road, and
Mhm.
he specializes in making VHS tapes. So he
Oh
found
shit.
he found an old 18 millimeter of Halloween, and he converted it into a VHS tape, but he had to like uh digitally like change like the color of it, the color grading, because the type of film it was printed on, it turned purple after so long.
Holy
So like
shit.
everyone was purple. So he had to like go on his computer and like regrade it before he put it on VHS. And we just got a copy of that from him, and he's doing a showing of that like at one of the theaters, and he's gonna project the original 18 millimeter with like a grading filter over it. So,
That's fucking sick. Yeah,
dude, yeah,
I love stuff like that. Like there's like a local theater that I go to all the time, and like um I probably do it too much where I just like see OG movies and I'm just, I love it. But I
it's
also have
awesome.
VHSs and, CRTs and stuff.
That's awesome, man. I think there are some movies that need to be seen in the theater.
Oh, 100%. And
Like,
I think I'll go even further. I think there's some movies that need to be seen on a fucking VHS. Like it's something about like that shit quality
yeah.
and like just like you turn on the TV and you hear that annoying ee and like fucking like you go closer and it's staticky. Like there's so much like I don't know, like there's and I'm really glad I'm like the age that I am where I had Blockbuster and I had all these things
Yep.
because it does just feel like, it's the same thing with vinyl and music. Like you spend money on something, you feel like very invested in watching it compared to
Yeah.
streaming where you just click anything. And there's not that like, investment. There's not that like I need to see this through.
So, how old are you, if you don't mind my asking?
I'm 27, about to be
Okay.
28 in December.
Right on. I'm 32. I'll be 33 on Sunday, as of this recording.
Oh, dude, happy belated.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Yeah, we just moved into a new house like halfway across the city that we live in, and I'm like, life is whole. It's all different now, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm getting fucking old. Like, It's
Dude, it's
crazy.
sick though, honestly.
But yeah, I do. We come from a similar age group. Like I remember having Blockbuster. I remember having Hollywood Video. I
Oh
remember
yeah.
like renting DVDs, renting VHSs. Like I miss it. So I'm always gonna want movies in VHS. My buddy actually makes movies that aren't meant to be in VHS and puts them in VHS. But then he also like makes a really sick cover and a back for it. So
hmm
it feels like it's a real like meant to be VHS, and it's just so much cooler.
Fuck, dude, I gotta look up. If they put the substance on that, I'm fucking buying it
Bro, if you want,
100%.
I can have him do it. Like maybe I'll get your information after this, after we're done recording, and I can send you a copy.
Dude, 100%. That'd be fucking awesome, dude. That'd
Okay,
be sick.
yeah. I'll tell you what, I'll do that for sure. I'll get it
Fuck
to you
yeah.
hopefully before the end of the year. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, man. I'd appreciate it.
I'm into the niche collecting. We love vinyl here, we love tapes here, we love all that kind of physical stuff.
Oh
Because
yeah,
it's
the
like you said,
physical
it's so
media is the
rare.
best. It's the best, dude. And that was like another thing where like even like little things with Rise, like I was like, we gotta do CDs, we gotta do cassettes. Like hopefully we'll be able to do some vinyl and stuff. And like I always wanted to do like we're doing this like signing thing, and I'm like I want to bring back posters and stuff too, just like
Yeah.
things that people can like physically hold. It just has such a value to them. Like even if it doesn't last forever too, it's just like something that like I don't know. I find such joy in like looking around my room and seeing all these things. Even if like I haven't played one of my VHSs in a month or fucking a year or 2 years, I still have like enjoyment knowing that at any time I could pick this thing up, put it in this thing, and I could watch it, or I can just enjoy the fact that like, I own this thing. Like I
Right.
physically own it.
You own, not only do you own it, because there's so many like things nowadays where you don't, but like it's internet proof. Let's say your
Yeah.
internet crashes, you could just put a fucking VHS in, you're good to go. Like
Yep.
it's a fail safe for that as well, and people don't think about that. It's like, dude, you might have times where you can't get on the internet to watch all the streaming shit you got or all the movies you bought on YouTube. Like,
Dude, there's sometimes movies just aren't on streaming too. Like my
yeah.
favorite movie, it always bounces off streaming. It's called Lost in Translation.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah.
and
See,
I have it on DVD twice. I have two fucking DVDs of it just in case.
dude,
So
that's awesome.
yeah,
I never would have thought that.
yeah, I love that movie. I love movies like that too. Like, um, I don't know, just like weird, I guess, like dramas slash like character studies. Those are like some of my favorite fucking movies. There's another movie called Detachment that's like kind of similar to that. I
Mm.
love movies like that. I love them.
That's awesome. I think movies are so important to our culture,
Yeah.
and they're such a big part of what makes us who we are. And like,
hmm
I don't care who you are, what you do for a living, what religion or race you are. Everyone has a memory of their mom or dad taking them, or their cousin or brother taking them to the theater and seeing a movie. And you're never going to forget, you were either scared shitless as a kid, excited, or some kind of mixture of both.
Yeah.
And for me, I will never forget going to that god awful 2000, like 99, I think, Godzilla movie with I forget who was in it. Was it Jeff Goldblum? I don't even remember. No, that was Jurassic Park. But it was so bad, and for some reason I was like 5 or 6 years old, and I just was like freaking the fuck out.
Yeah, I
And
mean, I have like so many like I mean the first one I think was like I saw Spider-Man 2. My dad fell asleep in the theater and I stole his nachos.
nice.
Um, Spider-Man 2 also fucking goated movie.
Oh yeah, that's the best of
Fucking
that trilogy for sure.
what a movie. Like drama, fucking
Mm.
action, it's perfect fucking movie. But yeah, I would say my new favorite theater experience was when I saw like a I guess like a anniversary showing of Scream, and
Ooh.
like everybody in the fucking theater knew every word to the fucking script, and it was so fun. I had such a good time, and that was like at my local place that I've seen like they did Kill Bill, they did Dark City, they did I Know What You Did Last Summer. They've done everything, and it's so fucking fun to go to those and just like meet the people too that also love movies, because I feel like all moviegoers are like if you're a movie fanatic, you're gonna fuck with other movie fanatics.
Not only that, but like we always can learn something from each other.
hmm
Like I don't care what kind of movies you like or what your aesthetic is. It doesn't matter. Like there's always something you can learn from someone else that enjoys the same medium.
100%.
And I think that's super rare nowadays. Like it's so many times we get like just pulled back on ourselves or what we want people to think of us or what we want to gatekeep things to be. And I feel like today it's and I guess kind of as we talk about physical media too, like people do it with that. Like to me, it's just important to love what you're doing and be open with other people.
Yep.
And be open with your fans, you know what I mean? Like be open with the people that are supporting you, and also just try to like create a sense of what is the word? Not identity.
Community.
Well, yeah, community for sure, but also you want to make an experience.
Hmm.
You want Salem Vex to just be a person. You want Salem Vex to be an idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that kind of commitment really lends itself to a deeper form of art. So I have to commend you for that. Like it's kind of cool to watch and see what you're doing here. And I'm
Thank you.
so curious to see where Salem Vex is by the end of next year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I can only hope to just keep doing the shit that I'm doing and people catch on. I have a lot planned.
Well, here's the thing: is like even if they don't, you know, what the beautiful thing is like you have this out in the world now, and
Hmm.
some kid your age is gonna come and find this 10 years from now, like, or when you were a kid, you know, the same age, and be like, what the fuck is this? And it's gonna change who they are.
Yeah.
Look, I've been podcasting for like 8 years, and honestly, people listen, but I'd love it if millions of people listen.
Yeah.
But even if they don't, now it's on the internet forever, and people might listen to it after I'm gone. You know,
Yep.
maybe your legacy lives on later.
I always feel that way too about like I mean I mean there's plenty of painters and writers and stuff. I think Nietzsche is like an example of that where nobody gave a fuck about him while he was alive.
Yeah,
But there's plenty of people where it's like yeah, and my only thing that I do for music and stuff is like I just want to inspire like the next generation of kids to just make a band and just do something they like. And I've already had these like interactions with like young kids 18 19 coming up to me saying like Bloodbather is the reason why they did this and that and the other.
that's
And like
awesome.
that stuff like makes my life, you know what I mean? Because I've, God forsaken, I fucking die tomorrow or whatever the fuck. I do have
Right.
like all these things that I've meticulously put together, and I feel like I've created enough of like a legacy where like I can pass and be happy about the fact that I'm leaving like this like body of artwork behind.
Dude, for sure. And like you're leaving behind something more than yourself.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people can say that, you know? I mean, other than like having kids and shit, but like
Yeah.
a lot of people can't say they're leaving behind a legacy when they leave.
Hmm.
Man, I'm all faced with my mortality today. I just watched Clerks 3 and I'm like, damn, I'm getting older. I gotta start taking care of myself. Like,
I mean, that's the good thing about like fitness and health and stuff is there's no like too late of a point
for
to
sure.
get into it and stuff. So, I mean, you'll be good, man. You'll be fucking good.
Hell yeah. I might message you and be like, tell me to go to the gym, brother.
Dude, hit me up on fucking Instagram. I'm always fucking down to chat movies and gym stuff, and
No, for sure.
that's stuff that I actually want to try to get into next year. I was trying to fucking because like I'm gonna try to do like personal training on the side just because
Nice.
very big passion of mine, and
I
I
kind
was
of
gonna
wish my
put together.
co-host was here. He's a trainer. He's a
Oh, that's
kickboxing
sick.
instructor. So
Yeah, no, I definitely want to put together like a free like I guess I'm giving it away, but like I wanted to make like I guess like a how-to guide on how to look like Brandon Lee from The Crow. Like that's like
nice. That's the
my
first thing
favorite
my wife
physique.
said when she saw you. She goes, "He looks like Brandon Lee from The Crow," and I was like,
That's
"Yeah, I
yeah.
know. I can tell."
So
Like,
I wanted to make like a free like PDF and stuff just to give to people that, here's what I did to do this, and you could do it too if you want to.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I knew to close things out. I knew you were a Spider-Man 2 fan. Don't ask me how I knew it.
Okay.
But we do our fucking research here on the Metal Massacre. So
All right.
I brought you a gift.
Okay.
Are you ready for it?
I'm fucking
It's
ready. Yeah.
it's crazy. It's like a minute something long. Here's Spider-Man 2 if he had brain rot.
So where you been, pal?
Okay.
You don't return my calls.
I've been mewing.
Trying to look like a Giga Chad? Why still no bitches these days?
Look at you, Peter. Your grades have been steadily declining. You're late for class? You look like you had a plastic surgery.
Bro, I've been on a mewing streak.
Mewing is not a major at this university.
Why wasn't I told?
What's this, broke Mr. Beast? A head sticking out of a toilet? A watermelon cat? Get your pretty little portfolio off my desk before I go into a brain rot coma.
Bro, these pics are phantom tax. If you post them, your paper's gonna be bussing no cap.
You're fired.
Bruh, this sussy baka tried to skibidi riz me up like baby Gronk. Yacht for sure, almost mogged my mewing streak.
Peter, what the fuck have you been talking about for the last hour and a half? Rosie, our new friend has brain rot. You can sleep in a nut house tonight.
You need to sleep soundly tonight, Otto.
Did Edison sleep before he turned on the light? Did Beethoven sleep before he wrote the Fifth?
Did the fuck boom sleep before he slapped that skibidi toilet riz?
Oh, Rosie.
Holy fuck, dude. I love the internet. I fucking
love it so much. I was like, I saw this the other day, and I was like, this needs to go in the show. I don't ask me how I knew, but yeah.
I mean, dude, that was fucking funny as fuck.
I thought you'd enjoy it. So
Yeah.
dude, thank you so much for being here. We'll totally be in touch. I'm gonna reach out to my VHS guy, and as soon as Substance drops on release, he's gonna make one for you, and I'll get your info later. We'll get it shipped. So
Fuck yeah, dude. You're the shit. I love you.
dude,
bro.
I
Thank
appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate everything you do and everything you're doing with Crucifixion. Best of luck on all of it. I think honestly, you guys are onto something really cool.
Hell yeah.
I think there's big things to come in the future for Salem Vex and for Crucifixion. And yeah, dude, hit me up when you guys have more music out. I'd love to come talk again.
We'll do.
Hell yeah. You
All right,
guys have
brother.
been listening to Metal Massacre. Be good people. Hail Satan.